What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, I've got some Pokemon Go Fest content for you. I know you're super excited about Pokemon Go Fest, and it's just a little over a week away, so it's going to be on July 17th and July 18th. And on July 18th, the second day of Go Fest, it's all about raids. And as far as the features are concerned, we're going to be getting an abundance of legendary Pokemon added back into raids. And with all those legendary Pokemon being added in pretty much at once, you may be a little concerned about how you're going to develop some teams. So we're going to cover the top teams that you want to build to take down a wide variety of these legendary Pokemon. And then, of course, the top Pokemon that everyone and your mom is going to want to raid. So, of course, we're going to be talking about that. And I'm also going to be adding at the end of the video a way that you can go ahead and invite up to 10 people into a remote raid. That's going to be very important if you're going for something like a Dialga and it's extremely difficult to take down with just like 5 trainers. So I hope you do enjoy that. But anyways, if you do enjoy today's episode, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So the reason why we are covering this episode today is because Pokemon Go ended up giving us some updates around Pokemon Go Fest, including some bonuses, which we will speculate on just so I can keep you up to date on everything. So some interesting details, at least first, is that we're going to have 2 Pokemon that we can evolve up to during Pokemon Go Fest and get the Community Day exclusive moves, Synchronoise for Gardevoir, and then Earth Power for the Pokemon Flygon. Now, at least in my opinion, I'm just going to skip out on Synchronoise. I prefer to use Gardevoir as a pure fairy type attacker, but with the Pokemon Flygon learning Earth Power, that's going to be a solid option from the raid side, and it's also going to be great from the PvP side. So if you want to save yourself an Elite Charge team and have wanted to use Flygon and just kind of waiting for it, now's going to be the time for Pokemon Go Fest. And then finally, we've got the bonuses. Now, as far as the bonuses are concerned, a lot of speculation centered around Dialga, Palkia, and then potentially Arceus. So we're going to have to see how that goes, but it's going to be centered around time and space. So you've got Palkia and Dialga, the time and space Pokemon, and then it seems like the natural conclusion to that would be Arceus, but I have no idea how Pokemon Go is going to do Arceus. I really hope that they don't just put in Arceus as just like a normal type, because Arceus can have plates where it can be any type. So we'll see. Hopefully Niantic doesn't screw that up. But anyways, that's going to pretty much cover everything from the end of July and go all the way through August if we end up unlocking those. Are we going to get the shiny variants added in? I don't know. I got a bad feeling they're not going to do the shinies like we think they will, because we have some Pokemon remakes coming out towards the end of the year, such as Brilliant Diamond, and then there's also going to be one for Pearl. But that's going to be on November 19th, and because of that, I have a bad feeling they're going to release these Pokemon as shinies on that date, and it's going to be just like a raid weekend. It's going to be the fear of missing out. You got to do it now because you're not going to get one later. But regardless, you can go ahead and build up your candy. Even if we don't get a shiny, I think that this event will definitely get a shiny. But let me know what you think about that in the comments section below. Is Pokemon Go going to release Dialga, Palkia, potentially Arceus, and are the shinies going to be made available? I would love to know what you think about that. So anyways, if we go ahead and move on a little bit, what we're going to do now is just start talking about the teams. Now, as far as teams are concerned, I think that the #1 team that you need to go ahead and make is going to be an ice team. And the reason why I say that is because there are just so many Pokemon that are going to be weak to the ice typing. And there are also going to be a lot of great ones in here. So, of course, you've got some Pokemon that are like the dragon types. And there are a ton of dragon type Pokemon that are going to end up being weak to that ice typing. And a lot of people are going to want to raid some of these. For example, something like a Rayquaza. But then secondly, you've also got a ton of flying type Pokemon, and the flyers are going to be weak to the ice type as well. So I think that just kind of in general, it is going to make a lot of sense. And then of course you've got ground type Pokemon, such as a Pokemon like Groudon, that's also going to be weak to ice type. So ice type is going to be like the most wide covering team that you can have. Now for me personally, I'm going in with all Mamoswines. I did recently TM all of my ground type Mamoswines over to the ice type moves so that I could actually have 2 teams ready. I did kind of hurt myself a little bit because now I don't have as many ground type Pokemon ready, but I'm not as focused on ground teams personally as I am using those ice teams. So that's gonna be my first recommendation. You could also use something like an Articuno, but I have Icy Wind on mine and I want to save some TM, so I'm just going to skip it. But you could also use something like a Weavile, for example. I think that all of those are going to be perfectly fine. So Ice Team is easily the #1 team that you want to create. Now, as far as the second team is concerned, I do think it makes sense to go ahead and create a dedicated Mewtwo counter team. Firstly, there's not very many other Pokemon that are going to be weak to kind of the same things as Mewtwo. You do have a Pokemon like Cresselia, for example. But I think a lot of people are going to focus on Mewtwo, so it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and have a team completely ready. And you're going to want to go with a Dark team, potentially Ghost team. Darkrai's great. The Giratina Origin form is great. Gengar, if you can kind of just focus on the moveset, dodge a little bit, could be great. And then I'm actually going to be using some Mewtwo's that have the exclusive move of Shadow Ball. I've got my 98% Shadow Mewtwo that has Shadow Ball. I'm going to be using that. And I also have another level 40. So reason why I'm doing that, they are top 6 counters, but I have them up to level 40. So that's going to make a lot of sense for me. So having yourself a team ready for Mewtwo, you're just setting yourself up for success, not using recommended. I highly recommend you to go in and just create these teams now. Don't even think about it. And then when these Pokemon come out, you're going to be ready to go. Once you get those raid invites, you just have to simply shift over. Now, as far as the next team is concerned, I think that having a ground team does make a lot of sense. For the most part, the main focus is going to be a Pokemon like Dialga and potentially a Pokemon like Raikou. Those are probably going to be like the 2 big ones. Maybe a Pokemon like Zekrom. You could use Ice, but if you've got a ground team ready, that could be a good thing as well. But it's important to have a good team kind of set up for this because Dialga is difficult to take down, which is one of the main motivations as to why I'm going to be adding on at the end of the video how you can go ahead and invite 10 people remotely to the raid. So get yourself that ground team. Like I said before, I need to TM a couple of my Garchomps that I have as dragon type moves. Go ahead and TM them over to ground type, and then of course use those. So I will be updating my ground team. It's not the greatest here, but yeah, looking pretty good. But I do have some other Garchomps that I can go ahead and do. Now, as far as the next team is concerned, I think that having yourself a fighter team is going to be great. Now, of course, you could use the fighters up against Dialga. That's also a common option. But if you're interested in doing a Reggie raid, maybe something like a Registeel, you need a couple more candy to get it ready for the Ultra League or get it ready for the Great League, and you're interested in doing that, or maybe something like a Heatran, I think having a fighting type team could make a lot of sense. But for me, it's not like the absolute top priority. Maybe going up against the Dialga, but it's not going to be top priority just because a lot of these Pokemon, the great ones, aren't weak to the fighters. But use yourself a Machamp, Conkeldurr, potentially a Lucario. I think I actually throw in a Lucario here, if I remember correctly. I kind of like rearrange the team a little bit. But regardless of that, I think that we can go ahead and talk about the final team that's worth making, and that is going to be an electric team. So as far as electric is concerned, there's going to be a couple Pokemon such as those flyers that are going to be weak to the electric typing, like Tornadus, Yveltal, you know, something like that. And potentially if you're interested in a Kyogre, that's going to be a great option to have. And it's going to be generic enough that you can use it for a multitude of Pokemon such as Moltres, Ho-Oh. Probably want to go with a rock team with those two though, since they will be double weak to it. And then of course Zapdos. So I do think that an electric team makes a lot of sense, but it's going to be more from just like a general standpoint of you've got a team ready to go and it's going to cover a wider variety of Pokemon. That's at least why I'm picking them in particular. So it's not that they're necessarily the best for a specific Pokemon. They're just generally good against a lot of Pokemon. So this footage comes from Legacy Zelia, who is in a relationship with Kaito Nolan, who is the raid solo queen. So if you're interested in just looking at some just crazy challenges from the raid side, make sure to check out his channel. But we're going to be using his footage, walking through it, because he already has some great documentation for it. So of course we'll go ahead and talk through that. Now, as far as inviting 10 people to raid, you can do this, but if you are remote raiding yourself, then there's only a total of 10, so you can invite 9. But that's way more than 5, right? So as far as the first step, you're going to invite people into the raid like normal. You just go ahead, click your 5 people, invite them in, and then you wait. You have to wait a total of 30 seconds. That's part 1. You have to wait 30 seconds because what's going to happen is that grayed out spot where it's got the plus sign, that's eventually going to be green where you can invite more people. And the second part is someone has to be in the raid lobby so that you can back out and the raid will still keep going like normal. So as you can see, someone ends up joining here where it says 2 players. So Legacy is going to back out now because someone is in there and still reserving it. He's going to go ahead and do the pass again, get back into the specific raid lobby. If you're just doing open, it won't matter. You won't have to type in a code or anything. But as you can see, if we go ahead and back this up a little bit, when he got back into the raid, what ended up happening was the invite circle ended up turning a light green, which means you can invite more people, which is great, right? So you've already got 5 people in here, as you can see on the counter. And then after that 30 seconds, someone being in there, you back out, you come back in. You can do that plus sign again, and you can invite a whole new set of people, meaning that you can have more than 5 people invited into the remote raid. And like we said before, this is all from a single account, which is just incredible. Now, doing this with multiple accounts doesn't help you because there can only be 10 total remote raiders in at a single time. But if you're out doing this yourself and you need help, this is going to be huge to be able to get more than 5 people added into a remote raid. As you can see, they already have 6 here, and in a couple seconds there will be more. Just like we can see, we've got 7 there. So if you are interested in doing remote raids and you don't have another account with you to do the invites as well, like separately, then you can invite up to 10 people by doing this, which is fantastic, and it is going to help with Pokemon like Dialga, like we talked about before. But anyways, I hope this video was helpful. Hopefully developing the teams is going to get you ready. Make sure to share this video with people, because if you go in with recommended, you're really hurting your chances of being able to take down some of these raid bosses, especially if you are doing it remotely. It's very important to develop the best teams that you possibly can. So make sure to go ahead and share that. And of course, I want to give a huge shout out to the supporters over at Patreon. If you're interested in doing remote raids for Pokemon Go Fest, check out the Patreon link in the description. We've got a Discord server and we will be coordinating for that, and I will see you next time.